Hey guys, welcome back. We have a new moon in Aquarius that we're going to talk about today. We are officially entering Aquarius season, and with that, I feel like we are sort of stepping into a portal into the unknown. Where it's going to take us, nobody knows exactly, but I think that as we move through this energy, we are going to be rather optimistic that wherever it's taking us, it's going to somehow be better than where we've been. General vibe coming through this cycle. This cycle is also going to bring probably some major mental transformations. Don't be surprised if your mind is changed dramatically somehow throughout the course of this cycle. This is also a period of some major changes that are going to be underway, and this could be very generalized. Like, these changes, they may just be in one area of our lives or another, or it could feel something like an entire life overhaul. We have paradigm shifting stuff going on, you guys, as we enter Aquarius season this year. And something else to keep in mind, Uranus, who is a ruler of the sign of Aquarius, is going to be stationing direct in the sign of Taurus the very next day following the new moon in Aquarius. And whenever a planet stations in its motion, it vastly amplifies the energy of that planet. Uranus is the planet of shocks, surprises, expect the unexpected, things not going as planned, lightning striking the tower. However, Uranus makes the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves. And this new moon in Aquarius cycle, I really think, is going to function to reprogram our mind and reprogram our reality in a lot of ways. And as we move forward following this new moon in Aquarius cycle, I do believe that things are not going to be the same. We're not going to be in Kansas anymore, so to say, and we're just looking at some major changes that are coming up here and that are going to be encapsulated throughout the course of the next 4 weeks as this lunar cycle plays itself out. Okay, now some other kind of another key word that I think we could find associated with this particular lunar cycle is spiritual awakening. There is a very, very profoundly emphasized and strong spiritual influence that is having a lot to do with what is playing out, how things are being orchestrated and coming together. Just very, very powerful spiritual influence. It's indicated through what's going on with the north node of the moon. It's indicated through this very strong Aquarian Uranian energy, both of which have to do with facilitating sort of a higher cosmic plan, destiny coming to pass. We have the wheels of fate are turning here, and things are happening according to a necessary trajectory that is helping, actually, with the strong Uranus influence, again, things to get back on course, how they need to be to facilitate our greater entrance into the age of Aquarius right now, you guys. Because really, what are we doing on this channel? We're narrating the shift of the ages. We are talking about, of course, how energy is coming together and how things are happening and playing out on the day-to-day. But we are keeping this in mind in consideration of the greater understanding that we are also right now moving through a very condensed shift of ages. And it's about more than what's just happening on the day-to-day. Right now, what's happening on the day-to-day really is functioning to play quite a significant and powerful role in our greater transition into this age of Aquarius energy. So by that, I mean to say that our Aquarius season this year, with Pluto now transiting through the sign of Aquarius, Uranus ruling the Aquarian energy, stationing, amplifying that energy, and also the very strong, prominent positioning of the North Node and the South Node of the Moon right now, having just began a new 18-year cycle through all the 12 signs of the zodiac. This is a new 18-year phase of collective evolution and growth coming while we have this new moon going on into a conjunction with Venus and Neptune. Endings and beginnings, these are themes that have featured very strongly throughout the course of 2024. And again, they will and they are as we move into the 2025 energy. But this new moon in Aquarius energy, it's taking us out of the past, okay? I was talking about how in the Capricorn cycle, it felt like to me that was kind of the last days where the energy of our old world and our old lives was like more strongly emphasized in terms of sort of like where the balance of power was and what we felt more strongly attached to or associated with, like the past and who we've been, or the future and where we're going and who we're becoming. I really felt like as of the full moon, the last full moon that we had in the sign of Cancer with the sun in Capricorn, that was indicating that we were in like the final days of that energy, and we would be rapidly approaching the point where the scales would actually tip, and we would still be sort of at this fulcrum point, like balancing, you know, between the past and the future. However, the energy would become more energetically weighted on the side of the future as opposed to the past. And that is what I perceive energetically is going on as we enter this new moon in Aquarius cycle right here, where we've got Pluto in Aquarius. Mercury, the mind, is exactly conjuncting, well, not exactly, 1 degree, very, very tight, less than a degree, but they're at different degrees, separation between Mercury and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. That has to do with some of these massive and powerful mental shifts that I feel like are going to be going on. We also have the new moon occurring in a very tight trine to Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. This new moon is a breath of fresh air, you guys. It is also one of the energetic high points actually of our entire year that we are moving into right now. I mean, traditionally, the sun trining Jupiter, the moon trining Jupiter, like these are some of the most benefic aspects in astrology. So we're talking about a time of maybe some abundance, some growth, some confidence, some optimism, like a restoration of hope and faith, perhaps in some type of way, faith in the future, faith in a higher power, maybe some faith in ourselves and our ability to move forward successfully somehow. And growth in a positive trajectory. Again, emphasizing the future focus of things right now. So not only, you know, do we have a new moon happening in the sign of Aquarius, which is about the bridge into this new age of Aquarius energy, which has everything to do with the future and where we're going. It's trine to Jupiter, which is expanding this vision and expanding sort of like the cosmic boost that is pushing us in that direction with success. We've got Mercury in the sign of Aquarius, also gearing us and like orienting us mentally in that direction with Pluto. I feel like this is reprogramming our mind somehow, maybe consciously, maybe even unconsciously or subconsciously, but in a way that is oriented towards this future focused energy. And then, as I said, we also have an emphasis going on the north node of the moon in a conjunction to Venus, in a conjunction to Neptune. There's a real like divine inspiration that is available to us right now as well, and an ability to like cultivate spiritual connection in a way that maybe we have not experienced before. I really do believe that spiritual phenomenon are going to be a greater part of our physical experience than maybe we are accustomed to or we've experienced before. I think that people who are not generally of a more spiritually oriented nature are going to be having spiritual experiences and epiphanies alongside this energy that are going to function as some type of spiritual awakening. Again, the concept of a spiritual awakening here as we move through this Aquarius lunar cycle, I do believe is unmatched, unrivaled in terms of things and energy setups that we've seen in a long period of time. This energy also is reminiscent of what we had going on during the American Revolution. The power of the mind and the ability talk about manifestation power, you guys, and something that we're going to have to learn. Okay, we've got Jupiter in the trine to the new moon. Jupiter also talks about lessons and wisdom. The power of our mind, the ability that we have to bring a vision into form, to manifest a vision into physical creation. We have not seen this since like literally the late 1700s. Okay, so as we move through this period of time, there, aside from the like spiritual growth that is going to be facilitated here. We are also going to gain a greater recognition of the power of our mind to create in the reality. And that could be another thing that is in some way like paradigm shifting somehow, or that just like radically transforms how we are thinking about things, or even like interfacing with our lives or reality or our own mind somehow. And another feature of this chart that we have playing out is a trine between Mars and Saturn and water signs. I'll talk about this more as we get through the report, but this is another energy that is literally helping us to ground some new visions, some higher visions, some higher ideal, some personal recreation or reinvention or something that is truly based in like a feeling nature, or that is motivated by the way that we're feeling about something, into reality. Mars and Saturn together in a trine aspect, this is a master builder energy. And so we really, like, on one hand, it makes sense why we have the new moon in a trine to Jupiter, that indicating just expansion, growth, blessings, good luck, good fortune, a positive, optimistic time generally. Again, this energetic high point. But we also have other aspects supporting our ability to truly like get in alignment with some vision and have the energy and the understanding and the focus and the motivation and the willpower to like take that vision, channel it through our mind's eye, and turn it into some type of form, tangible, functional, solidified, manifest in the physical reality. Never a better manifestation energy. We have both like the spiritual visualization, conceptual mind's eye component of things very strong, as well as the ability to take that and translate it into something that is physical, that takes root, and that actually is successful. There is energy coming through here also that is going to be very supportive of fixing things that have gotten us off course, mistakes that we've made in the past, alterations to plans. Remember, we do still have Mars and Jupiter and Uranus retrograde at the time of the new moon. The very next day, though, Uranus stations in the sky. This is definitely going to emphasize everything that Uranus and Aquarius represent. And anything that is lingering in our lives, you guys, that is still not authentically aligned with whatever path universe wants us to be on right now, we'll probably experience some type of shakeup that redirects it or redirects us somehow. But it's not probably going to be a typical week. Again, you know, been talking about this for several weeks now as we've had this stronger Aquarius Uranian energy coming through. This is another one of those weeks where things are probably just not going to be proceeding as normal. Shocks, shakeups, instability also. This is not another thing that we should know and pay attention to and be aware of about the way that this particular new moon chart is setting up, you guys. There is no earth energy. We literally have the south node of the moon in Virgo right now, and the south node is about like endings. Okay. There's nothing like, this is very, very ethereal, spiritual energy. I do like I said, that we have Mars in trine to Saturn, because that is giving us the energy and the potential, and like we are orienting and gearing our action and our behavior in such a way that is helping to ground things and to, you know, form, mold. There is an ability to operate within boundaries here. You know, we're not just like totally wilding out. But this is not a very grounded energy. We are going to therefore need to take conscious measures to make sure that we're keeping ourselves grounded, make sure that you're getting enough sleep, you know what I mean? Like, make sure that you are paying attention to the details and things. With a sun, moon, new moon and trine to Jupiter, this is an energy that it is probably going to definitely have us looking at the glasses half full, feeling maybe confident and optimistic about things, but there can be a tendency to like overlook the details, overlook the fine print. And, you know, with the lack of grounding here, just don't let yourself, you know, get a little bit too out of control, you know what I mean? Like, and also another like word of caution here, it can be sort of the type of energy where we have the wind in our sails. That's the wind is definitely likely to be in our sails over the course of this period of time. Don't get lazy though, you guys. Don't think just because there's been some type of sudden turnaround and everything's working out and things are feeling good and seem like they're finally moving in the right direction, or you're seeing progress, growth, or success or something like that. Don't think that that is some type of indication that you can just like start coasting. Rather, I would say express gratitude for the, you know, things moving in your direction or the growth or the abundance, and keep up the same amount of effort that you've been putting in, just with this new inspiration or new vision of the potential that things could possibly grow into if you just like keep up the same intention and the same direction and the same like input and motivation. Don't use it as a reason to take a break. Use it as an opportunity to become even more inspired about the greatness that you can do, be, create, and produce. I think that that's sort of the better way to orient ourselves mentally in this energy, because it may sort of elicit a desire to kind of be like, I finally got there. I finally reached the top. I just want to like kick back for a little bit and coast now and, you know, just like enjoy the splendors of my effort, which is not a bad thing, you know, in moderation. That is, if you need to reward yourself for like a job well done, this would be a good time to do that as well. But again, it's not energy where, you know, we haven't reached the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've reached a good milestone here, I feel like this feels like, and we've got a lot to look forward to going forward if we keep up at the same rate that we are going now. So breaks where breaks are necessary, optimism absolutely, confidence in the path and the trajectory ahead. However, we are not getting overly confident, we are not getting lazy about things, we are not counting our chickens before they hatch, so to say. You know what I mean? Just some general words of advice. And again, the whole like paying attention to the details and the fine print and just not allowing ourselves to get carried away. You know, don't get a big head in this energy. That could be another thing, okay? With great power comes great responsibility. That's something that I'm going to be saying more and more as we move forward into this stronger Aquarian energy, and we do become more self-empowered, but also power corrupts, you know, and we don't want to go there. With Pluto and Mercury together, this can also be a very like obsessive, like diabolical type of mental energy as well, like the urge to overpower and dominate and control through like the mind and words and thoughts and stuff like that, or just feeling like we are abominable or unstoppable or whatever, you know. Yeah, it could be manifesting that way as well, but that's not the direction of things, you guys. Like, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. It's not about like seizing power and seizing control and like the centralized grasp of holding everything, and that's how we like find our strength. It's more about like striving to reach our personal greatest potential and then sharing that far and wide and experiencing our success through the impact and the service that we are contributing and having on others and the overall whole. Moving into the age of Aquarius, you guys, moving forward into this next 20-year Aquarius generation now with Pluto transiting the sign of the Aquarius, our greatest success and our greatest power is going to come from our ability to self-actualize, like our ability to reach and step into our truest potential and maximize the impact of whatever that potential is on the greater overall whole. It's how the unique individual activates their destiny and their potential in order to serve a greater purpose and the overall whole. And like, again, like that is where our fulfillment, that is where our success, that is where our power is going to come from moving forward into this age of Aquarius. And of course, you know, as power decentralizes, it makes sense that that would be just kind of like a feature of this energy as we all step into our own individual power, and we no longer need to be plugged into that greater overall power source the way maybe we did in the past when we were more disconnected from that like sense of internal power in alignment with purpose and drive and motivation to become that, and the awareness associated with that inside of us. Okay, so all of this stuff I feel like is going on, playing out on one level or another as we move through this cycle. This is a time of big dreams, right? A vision of what could be with the potential to follow through on that. The new moon in a trine to Jupiter, Mars in a trine to Saturn, Venus and the North Node and Neptune together in the sign of Pisces. Miracles, unlimited potential, endless possibilities of what things could become here, and this energy beckoning us forward, calling us forth into a future that maybe we never imagined for ourselves, but for some reason we are awakening to right now. A great awakening, a spiritual awakening, awakening generally, helping us to let go of the past and embrace a new future, even if we don't know exactly where that future is leading us. Again, like I said, it's like we just have the internal knowing that wherever it's taking us is better, more appropriate, more abundant, or more suitable, or more fulfilling than where we've been in the past. As a result, people are going to be coming to the point of being ready, okay, to surrender to change. People are going to be letting go of things, I think, that maybe they thought that they would just like never be able to either be released from or to release themselves. Also, again, like it could be a part of this higher spiritual alignment that we're sort of being immersed with, or the greater spiritual connection that we're finding ourselves engaged in somehow. But Aquarius is fixed energy. Taurus, where Uranus is fixed energy, you guys. Jupiter's in Gemini. This is mutable energy. This is all about breaking through resistance. It's all about like shaking things free. It's like a flower that's been growing through the concrete for 20 years, and then all of a sudden something happens and the concrete is broken and like it breaks away, and now it can bloom and like come into its full blossoming splendor, as opposed to just like the little flower that it could be when it was just trying to make its way through the concrete. Like it's that type of situation. Things that have been fixed, things that have been stagnant, things that have been stuck and functioning as blockages to growth, especially in regards to that awakening to our true potential and purpose. That is what the lightning is striking, and that is why the towers are falling alongside the way that this energy is coming through. But on the way down, as that tower is crumbling, maybe while we're going through that process of free fall, there are also going to be miracles. There's going to be these spiritual experiences that make the concept of a spiritual presence or of a higher power undeniable. And again, that is what is going to function as these wake-up calls that are wake-up calls / spiritual awakenings that I think that are just going to be what's happening for us on Earth over this period of time. Those with the eyes to see are going to be seeing the light here, and through that light we're going to also be discerning like new layers and new dimensions and new levels to experience reality in ourselves, I think, that we hadn't seen before. The position of the North Node, actually the symbolic placement where the North Node is located for our new moon, I think is specifically referring to it. That degree is 29 degrees of Pisces, light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism. I do think that for whatever reason, we are going to be seeing the breakdown in things perhaps in a way that we hadn't been able to discern before. And again, there's likely to be something highly revealing about whatever is going on. We've got Mercury and Pluto in a conjunction in the very beginning of the sign of Aquarius. Things from the past that have been hidden or obscured, specifically information, are going to be revealed during this cycle as well. And that could also be what is playing into these mental transformations and this greater paradigm shift that's underway. We actually have the South Node, or talking talking about the North Node degree. The South Node degree is at 29 Virgo, a man gaining secret knowledge from an ancient scroll that he is reading. Mercury and Pluto together, that literally unearths things. That is X-ray vision. That is like penetrating insight into things. We're also talking about Jupiter, you guys, in the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, okay? And he's retrograde. That is the past. There is likely to be big information from the past that is being unearthed in a way that has a very transformative impact on actually the trajectory of the future, how things are going to function moving forward. It's like one of those things where, like, once your mind is stretched to new dimensions, you can't go back to old experiences. I think that is very much what we're moving through as we hit this new moon of Aquarius energy. Information really is king right now. It is powerful. It is valuable. It is a profoundly transformative element of this time. We also have Mercury at 3 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a deserter from the Navy stands suddenly aware of a dawning truth. Freedom is never the result of compromise. Look for those themes to be a part of whatever is going on in association with the informational component of this. And we also have Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is an unexpected thunderstorm. So, I mean, Uranus is the planet, is the lightning planet, and is about unexpected storms. So there could also be, like, literally with that placement, there could be some, like, actual big storms that are going on that are having some type of major impact that are causing people. I mean, Mercury has to do with short distance travel and things moving back and forth as well that could, like, displace people or something somehow. Just like a totally random side note about this energy. But it could feel like a storm. The storm is upon us, you guys. We're going to find out some things. Some things are likely to be unearthed or uncovered pertaining to perhaps even the ancient past. There could literally be secrets coming out right now that go all the way back to, like, I don't know, the American Revolution type of times, all the way back to the 1700s, the last time that we had this aspect. We have not had Mercury and Pluto in a conjunction together in the sign of Aquarius for a new moon since late 1770s, okay? So this is an entirely new energy, and it is going to have a very powerful impact. Again, it's also really, really, really going to emphasize the power of the mind, the power of our thoughts, and with the rest of this energetic setup out there, how we are using those to create our reality. I'm telling you guys, thoughts become things here. Guard your mind, guard your thoughts. With great power comes great responsibility. Use your mind wisely, use your words wisely. Your words are also more powerful than you know at this point in time. So everything that comes out of our mouth is like a spell, you guys. Like, it literally is, you know, that's kind of how words function anyways, but just be more so aware of that as you are formulating your ideas into words that come out of your mouth while we move through, you know, specifically this day and this week where this new moon energy is occurring, but also as we move forward throughout the entire new moon cycle, because as you guys know, new moons are sort of like an energetic thumbprint, blueprint that describes what we're going to be experiencing throughout the course of the entire lunar cycle. So this energy really is finding its origin point with our new moon as it's going on today, but it will unfold and progress along these same lines throughout this entire 4-week period. And I should have said in the beginning, you guys, but I got so distracted being caught up in this energy that we've got coming in that I forgot to say it. But the basic data of our new moon, it's happening on Wednesday, January 29th, 2025, 12:37 Universal Time, 7:37 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 degrees, 51 minutes of the sign of Aquarius, where the sun and the moon are aligning. And again, this is happening. Jupiter is at 12 degrees of Gemini, so we've got, or at 11 degrees of Gemini, so there's a 2-degree orb between that trine, very tight trine, very impactful trine. Mercury is at 3 Aquarius, Pluto's at 2 Aquarius, and then we have Venus at 26 Pisces, Neptune 28 Pisces, North Node 29 Pisces, very tight conjunction going on there. And lastly, I was looking at Saturn at 18 Pisces, Mars at 22 Cancer. So the building trine between Mars and Saturn as well, which is going to be a feature of our energy next week that we will be talking about. But you know, new moons are an intention setting time. This is the seed planting phase of the month. This is when you want to, you know, do your journaling, set your intentions, set your goals, like do your, you know, your vision board or whatever, like small scale manifestations you want to initiate to see unfold throughout the course of the lunar cycle. We want to do it during any new moon phase. But this new moon phase, you guys, with the emphasis on the Aquarian energy in the trine to Jupiter, that's like success in the transformations that are just like fundamentally underway right now, what we're letting go of, and more specifically what we're moving towards, what we're initiating, what we're changing, the redos and reconfigurations that are underway, what we're creating, what we're inspired to do and build and create right now. But most importantly, like the ways that we are changing, transforming, and recreating ourselves in alignment with some authentic truth or some like passion or purpose or divine calling or spiritual like higher knowing or something like that. We should be feeling in greater alignment with ourselves than we've ever felt in our lives as we move forward into this energy, okay? So I do think our focus is going to shift going forward. It could feel a bit stormy as we move through this, but with the Jupiterian influence as well, like I don't necessarily think so. I think it's more so going to be about feeling more empowered to successfully move forward with something that we maybe would have doubted or questioned our ability to do perhaps in the past. I think our focus is going to change. I think we're going to have some type of resurgence and faith in the future somehow. As I've said, you know, endings and beginnings, yes. Transformation and transition, yes. But we are weighted now on the side of the positive potential, the positive possibility, perhaps a favorable outcome, trusting the process, trusting ourselves, trusting in a higher power. This is a blessed and favorable energy. Knowing how to fix things, knowing how to be successful. There's a very, very powerful informational component to things right now. If you've been needing a solution, if you've been needing some advice or guidance, this is when you are likely to get or come into contact with, or whatever you've been needing is likely to just like fall seamlessly into your lap or into place somehow. Good luck, support, good ideas, growth, an abundance, like a growth mindset, abundance mindset, an ability to literally like see our manifestations or our visions translate into manifestations that are coming into fruition. We may be tasting a little bit of success with this, okay? But as I was stressing earlier, don't get ahead of yourself. If things are moving your way right now, gratitude, giving thanks, you know, allowing it to be something that just like bolsters and reinstills your faith in yourself and in a higher power and in your ability to succeed. This is what we want to do. We don't want to, you know, get too comfortable. We don't want to use it as an excuse or opportunity to just, you know, act like we're the greatest in the game and just let it get to our head somehow. That can happen. We've got this type of Jupiter influence, but you know, staying grounded to the best of our ability and staying focused on the work as well. Remember, Mars and Saturn in trine. This is when we have Mars and Saturn in a trine, our efforts pay off, okay? Even though Mars is retrograde right now, especially any way that we are like altering or fixing our own behaviors or also our own like inner landscape, okay? How we're feeling about things inside, the way that we conduct ourselves, the way that we use our energy, the way that we just like initiate action and behave around others and stuff, motivated largely perhaps by how we're feeling about things with Mars and Saturn and the water signs. but yeah, this is a very productive energy with which to make changes both internally and externally, fixing things, rehabbing things, refurbishing things, renovating things, also projects, like whatever things to do with the home, also with Mars in the sign of Cancer, or relationships within the family. This is a good time for fixing perhaps like things that have gotten off course familially as well. This could also be reconstructing belief systems to some extent, as Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, which of course has to do with our belief systems, and with Venus also, again, this is like playing into that like whole spiritual energy also that's going on right now. I'm telling you guys, and I've been saying this as well. As we move through the course of this year, but really into the next 20 years, which is really bridging us into the greater next 2,000 years, there's going to be some type of shifting belief systems, spiritual belief systems as well, that plays a role in this paradigm shift and our shift into the age of Aquarius. So it'll be real interesting to see what comes along those lines as well. Of course, we're talking about strong Aquarius energy, you guys. Like, this is also probably going to bring up themes having to do with like space and technology and AI and innovation and like new revolutionary, maybe like medicine or like ways of healing, or again, also it's going to bring up or expose things that have been hidden in the past that could have to do with technology or energy. Also, this is probably going to bring up new ways of energy. Cryptocurrency is also very highlighted here. Wouldn't be surprised if there is some big stuff that goes on with cryptos, especially while really moving through this whole new moon Aquarius cycle. But as Uranus stations in the sign of Taurus on Thursday, the day after this new moon, we could see something happen with cryptos as well, or just some big movement with cryptos, or there's could be like something unexpected along those lines. But Uranus obviously has to do with Aquarius. This is this like new cutting edge technology and stuff, inventions represented through Uranian energy in the sign of Taurus. Taurus has to do with resources, assets, banking, money, financial systems, stuff like that. So aside from the probably shifting relationship dynamics that are also a major feature of what we've got going on here, there could be money, financial changes coming with this as well. And I'm thinking like crypto heavy, they just something along those lines, because of Uranus stationing in Taurus. And really, you know, ever since Uranus entered Taurus, there has been that's I think, you know, when we've seen consciousness embrace, like more collective consciousness beginning to embrace cryptos, has been happening over the past 7 years while Uranus has been transiting through the sign of Taurus. When Uranus entered Taurus, it was a pretty clear indication at the beginning of this transit that it would usher in the age of cryptocurrencies right now. And Uranus is it takes Uranus 7 years to transit a sign. Uranus is preparing to complete his transit of the sign of Taurus. As Uranus wraps up that transit, I do think that is where we will see on an even greater level the more mass consciousness embrace the concept and the consensus of value around cryptocurrency. Because of course that is what really gives any currency its value, right? Is the consensus, the collective consensus that whatever that is holds value. And that is going to continue to accelerate as we move forward and Uranus wraps up this transit of the sign of Taurus. So you know, expect that as well. That's just going to be something that becomes a more prominent feature of the financial realms of our reality moving forward also. Okay. So you guys, this is a great energy. Like I said, I do think that it's going to be just kind of a high point. I think that after a period of time, this past couple months have been difficult, and there's been a lot of loss and having to let go and endings Major changes and transformations represented in all this. As I said before, you know, we are still in that energy. Major changes and transformations are still represented here, but I think that we are tipped more towards the energy that is kind of like compelling us forward. We are like just more optimistic about what the future holds, as opposed to, you know, feeling so attached to the past and to where we've been and to how hard it's going to be to let go and move on. So I think there's definitely some type of shift that goes on or takes place in that regard while we move through this period of time as well. Venus, Neptune in the North Node. This is high heart, divine inspiration, energy, literally like the divinely inspired vision or ideal of what we could be. We really, I do think, are being opened up to our dreams and perhaps, you know, wishing on a star or being more so aligned with what is like the endless possibilities. Again, like there is this very like lofty, open-minded, anything is possible type of energy that we're just kind of immersed in as we move through this energetic window period. It's bringing it from the crown and it's coming down through us to the root. But what I love about this energy again is the trine between Mars and Saturn. Even though we have no earth sign energy, that is the master builder frequency. Energy, motivation, will, focus, determination to make something happen when we've got these two forces functioning together. And they're in water signs. Feelings that motivate form here. With Venus and Neptune and the North Node, this is some type of, honestly, like it is fated. It's like the North Node compels us forward. It can almost be sort of like this compulsion. There's also, you guys, a very obsessive energy that's going on here. Mercury and Pluto together is traditionally like, it can be a very obsessive, very compulsive, like driven energy to get to the bottom of something, to get to the root of something. Like we can be very obsessively focused on things. The North Node is also an energy that functions in terms of like compulsion, and it can just make us have like this urge that we've got to do something. It can be sort of like an impulse that we feel pulled towards. With the North Node and Venus and Neptune, this is that higher spiritual connection, that divine ideal, that higher purpose that we are, I don't know, for some reason, gaining a greater or closer relationship to right now, that higher spiritual purpose. Or that like, but it's in our heart too, or that higher spiritual desire or something like that. And then with the Mercury Pluto, like there could be just this obsessive drive to maybe figure out how to make it happen, or I don't know, to find something out. This is also, though, I will say, talk about, you know, Uranus stationing in the sign of Taurus. This will also bring relationships to an end that are not divinely aligned, okay? You know, it is the free fall energy, right? It is the tower energy, but this is making the changes for us. We haven't been able to make for ourselves. Relationships, I'm telling you guys, you can take it to the bank. Trust me on this one. I am not sure of a lot of things all the time, but this is one thing that I am sure of. Relationships that are falling out of your life in this energy, that are leaving your life, that just can't be resuscitated, that can't be saved, that you've maybe been a part of or working with for a long period of time here. I'm telling you guys, they are not divinely aligned. That is why they are going. Do not try to hold on to it. There is something more for you. There is something better for you. There is something like more purposeful for you, or more fulfilling for you, or just in a greater resonance or more aligned for you out there. If it is leaving your life right now, it is for an important purpose. If you try to hold on to it, it is to your own demise, okay? And the best thing that we can do in this energy is to surrender what we are being asked to leave behind right now. Know that there is truly no loss in divine mind, okay? If it is leaving your life right now, it is because it is not what's meant for you. What is meant for you is simultaneously in the process of making its way into your life, but you can't get that if you don't let go of, if you don't create the space for it, okay? If you don't let go. So what is meant for you will always find you. And this is the energy where those connections are trying to make their way to us, but we've got to clear the deck so that we can, you know, get on this new trajectory moving forward. Couple final notes. As I mentioned earlier, mind your thoughts here, you guys. Thoughts become things in this energy. The power of the mind is something coming through right now, and it's going to be something that we are working with and learning to, you know, deal with over the course of this next 20 years, but we have not seen this type of powerful mental energy for over 200 years. So this is a new experience for all of us. There's probably going to be a learning curve, but you know, pay attention to where your mind is going, to what you're thinking about, to what you're imagining also. Like, really mind your imagination, because that is the seed that translates into the 3D form, okay? Like, that is the origin point for the manifestations in this energy. The imaginative with Venus and Neptune and the North Node there, like, and also with Mars and Saturn and the water signs, like, where we are aligned in our feeling emotional body and within our mind's eye, and with Mercury and Pluto as well, this powerfully translates through, you know, the magic of this reality into the reality. All right. The mind and the heart, in combination with feelings and emotions, are programming the creation of reality around us right now. This is going to be a feature, again, of, this is how things are going to work in the age of Aquarius, right? Like, the further we move into that energy, the more conscious creators we're actually going to realize that we are. And this is where we are beginning to learn the skills that are going to set us on that path moving forward. So just be aware of that. Be conscious of your power this cycle and focus on that which you wish to create. I can't emphasize that enough, okay? We are being supported in our vision to redefine ourselves and our lives as part of this greater overall process of the shift of the ages that is underway right now as well. As I said in the beginning, we are essentially laying the groundwork for this incoming paradigm through the way that we are interacting with and integrating these new frequencies that are coming in now. We are kind of like internalizing these energies, and as a result of that, our energy bodies are shifting. The way that we do things is shifting, and that is helping to root and anchor these new frequencies that will define the next 2,000 years to the planet right now, as we move through this very condensed period of Aquarius energy that really is just kind of like an indication of what is to come more and more so as we move forward through time now. Big, huge changes in our lives are indicated here. Of course, this Aquarius new moon and a trine to Jupiter, ruling big things, huge things, expansion. This is revolutionary energy, global revolution 2.0. We could look at it that way. The energy that was present for the American Revolution is back again. So everywhere in the world, we are all working with and moving through that. We are going to be learning a lot, and these are positive changes for the better, ultimately helping us to build a better future and go through this phase of collective awakening and conscious evolution as we bridge back into a golden age, you guys. That is ultimately where we are headed, and it may not happen today or tomorrow, but over the course of this age of Aquarius that is incoming right now, we are actually heading back into a golden age of humanity, which will encompass the greater next 10,000 years as we move in that direction. So we got big cycles of time, we got little cycles of time, and this microscopic point in time that we're at right now, I do think is like a spark in that golden age that is incoming now. So we may not know exactly where we're going, you guys, but as I've said, I think that we're going to start to feel optimistic about the direction that we are heading in. It is a it's probably going to feel, again, I've been saying a breath of fresh air, but also just like this radical sense of newness, a whole new day. For our new moon in Aquarius that we've got going on, we have the Earth always in a polar opposition to the sun, and on the new moon, the polarity point of the new moon at 10 degrees of Leo. That Sabian symbol is the early morning dew, salutes the sunlight. And to me, when I think about just like the way that this symbol feels, you know, it is like the essence of newness. Like if you could bottle something that represents like the very verge of something new, but in a way that is optimistic and positive and like looking forward to the future, early morning dew saluting the sunlight, I think that it really is sort of like the essence of that in a bottle. And that's the position of the Earth. Like this is something radically brand new, but it is also for the better. It's a good thing, and endless potential for growth and actually life and renewal, I feel like is associated with this as well. In terms of the other symbols that we've got going on, and as our new moon plays out, there are so many of them really, I think, are on par with kind of just like the general vibe that we've got going on: awakening, freedom, self-empowerment, change, this newness that's emerging. The position of the new moon itself is at 10 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a man who had for a time become the embodiment of an ideal, is made to realize that as a person, he is not that ideal. Again, it's like these mental shifts and transformations that are underway, a subconscious reprogramming that perhaps which we had been striving for, or that we had idealized or been idealized as maybe like our ideal of, you know, perfection or greatness, somehow maybe undergoing some type of massive shift right now as we're awakening to something else. Remember, light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism as well. The position of the North Node, like seeing things through a different perspective, the varying layers and dimensions of things, and maybe as a result of that, having some type of massive realization that what we thought we wanted or what we thought we were is not exactly on par with maybe the higher spiritual calling or knowing of what we are, who we are, what we need to do or be or become or go towards now. You know what I mean? So I don't know, I feel like that symbol also, especially with Mercury and Pluto together, is just like so emblematic of these greater unfolding themes that are underway. We also, as I mentioned, have Mercury, 3 degrees of Aquarius, a deserter from the Navy, stands suddenly aware of a dawning truth. Freedom is never the result of compromise, talking about this like revolutionary energy, right? And the need to like break free from anything that is blocking growth or potential, or that is out of integrity, or that is just not authentically aligned for some reason. We have actually Venus at 26 Pisces. A new moon reveals that it's time for people to go ahead with their different projects, like legitimately talking about a new moon on the day of the new moon reveals that it's time for people to go ahead, like get started on something, right? Like this is a very potent manifestation, seed planting energy. Venus is obviously the energy of fertility and creation. So there's yet again another indication for you. Mars at 22 Cancer, a woman awaiting a sailboat. The new journey awaits, you guys. We've got places to go and things to do and people to see, but there's a change, there's a shift, like there's a, you know, we are heading in a different direction. And again, a sailboat, the wind being in our sails this cycle. We have Saturn at 18 Pisces in a huge tent. A famous revivalist conducts his meeting with a spectacular performance. Like I've been saying, some type of spiritual revival is probably underway as well. People are going to be having spiritual experiences that make the concept of a higher power's presence here in our reality undeniable moving forward, which will also be paradigm shifting. We have Jupiter right now at 12 Gemini. A slave girl demands the rights of her mistress, kind of on par with that Mercury degree as well. Like, we are not, like, we're no longer willing to just bend the knee, okay? Like, revolution, rebellion, defiance, anything blocking our trajectory of growth right now, even if we don't really understand that that's what it's actually about, people are just not gonna be taking it. We're going to be asserting ourselves. Again, this is all also like coming back to this process of self-empowerment that is underway at this period of time as well. We have, don't forget the Uranus degree, you guys. This is relevant. Uranus is at 24 Taurus, an Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging from his belt. I wouldn't be surprised if heads are rolling, you guys. I'll talk about this more. I'm going to talk about more about Uranus's station in my next video on Friday. We had a whole new moon today, and that's kind of like its own individual energetic event, and I definitely wanted to talk about it today in the context of the new moon, because it's obviously going to be, I think, playing a role in this new moon energy. But it's going to be happening on Thursday, and I'll have my video on Friday where I will go back over this energy when we talk about what we've got going on as we move into the weekend. But Uranus is stationing. Uranus is at that particular degree, the Indian warrior riding fiercely, like literally talking about the human scalps. Uranus is also in a conjunction to Algol. This is not exact, but if you guys have been following my channel for a while, I've been talking about this fixed star Algol, and it's the Medusa star. It gives connotations of losing one's head, and it's been very highlighted by the planet Uranus throughout the course of the past year. And again, with Uranus stationing in a conjunction to the fixed star Algol at the degree about the human scalps and the Indian warrior, like literally, you guys, like heads could be rolling as a part of setting the record straight or of putting things right. Remember, Uranus is the galactic fixer and the great rectifier. So there could be some shocking or unexpected things like that are playing out over this next couple days coming up here, and moving into the weekend. We also, remember, have Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius, an unexpected thunderstorm. And I've already told you guys the positioning of the nodes, light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism, and a man gaining secret knowledge from an ancient scroll that he is reading, which is also very, very indicative of Mercury Pluto at 0 degrees, or not 0 degrees, at the very beginning of the sign of Aquarius. So yeah, you guys, all of those things could tie into or play into what we've got going on. Times of high strangeness, as I've been saying, it's not going anywhere. I've been talking about how things are just going to get real weird. We're moving through just like unprecedented times. The key phrase hyper novelty could hold special relevance right now. And yeah, things are unpredictable. Things are sort of like undefinable. Things are not very stable. Things could be kind of unstable as well. But they are bringing themselves together, I think, in some better ways than we could have anticipated or imagined. So I'm going to get us a synchronicity card now, you guys. I'm going to ask God, Spirit, Universe, final piece of guidance or advice. What should we keep in mind? What should we tell ourselves? What should we hold close to our heart as we move through this? Me personally, the way that this is coming together, I do think it has a lot to do with the spiritual connection that is guiding us forward right now. And I don't know, perhaps some like major revelations or awakenings or epiphanies or something that goes on as a result of that. The card that we have come out says, go for it, you guys. Which again, like right on par with, I feel like, the way this astrology is coming together. Okay, so he leaping up stood, Acts 3:8. Here it is, ready? Take a leap of faith. Go for it. Take the chance and leap. you will find God is lifting you over the chasm and you are flying. If you do not have that faith, then find a bridge. Teach yourself to have the faith. Nothing is impossible. This is another one of those moments where the synchronicity cards are like just so ridiculously on par with the astrological message that I feel like is coming through. I don't even know how many times I've said in this report, endless possibilities, anything is possible, and we literally get the card, the last line at the bottom says nothing is impossible. And we haven't gotten this card in a long time. This is not one that comes out often. So there's some more magic for you guys. We've got all of these cards. There's so many of these cards, right? And the one that comes out is the one that literally is talking about a trine between Jupiter and the sun and the moon in the sign of Aquarius. Like, this is the time to take the initiative to, like, if you've been, as I said, you know, wishing on a star, wanting to bring a dream to life, we just have the spiritual, mental, and even like physical, energetic support right now somehow to, I don't know, take the chance and leap. You will find God is lifting you over the chasm and you are flying. It is, you know, the tower, the lightning might be coming through and striking the tower, but as we're going through the free fall, you might realize that you are flying more than falling. So another really positive message coming through for us that is exactly on par with the way that the energy seems to be functioning. So I think it's all good, you guys. We're headed in the right direction and it is time to start embracing this Aquarius energy. So that's where we're at least in my humble opinion of things. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would also enjoy narrating the shift of the ages with us. Leave me comments. I'm so thankful for your presence on my channel. I really truly value your feedback, what you guys have to say. If you are having experiences that line up with or reflect what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. Super valuable information to me. I am very grateful for all of you and thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard over here, I have a Facebook group where I post images of these boards. You can find that linked in my description box below. If you want to follow along with the Mayan astrology, with the Mayan calendar with us, I've started doing daily shorts in correspondence with whatever Mayan day sign we are on that day. You can find those in the shorts section of my video, or no, of my channel. And I think that's everything that I have to say. So if you want some really nice gemstone, authentic, functional jewelry, check out the company Otter. They are linked in my description box below as well. And come back with me on Friday, you guys. We have more big time astrology that we're going to be getting into. Of course, as I've already mentioned, we need to talk about Uranus's station. That is going to be shaking some things up this week. Do not expect, again, things to just kind of go as planned this week. Be as adaptable as possible and also keep an open mind. I think that we're just gonna kind of organically be doing that anyways. And we also have Venus North Node Neptune conjunction that we need to get on into this weekend. Very dreamy weekend coming up. Very, again, like we are just moving into more of this powerful manifestation energy. And I will be back to talk all about it. So you should come back too. You don't want to miss it, you guys. I will see you then. Have a really beautiful new moon in Aquarius. And until next time, bye guys.